Okay, thank you, and thank you, Diane. Thank you for the kind words. I think we are here today to distinguish ourselves. I obviously am happy to be running against such a gracious opponent, but I do believe and hope to persuade you that I'm the right choice this time around. So what I do right now is I am a court commissioner. As a court commissioner, I literally do the work of a judge. There is truly no distinction between what I do and what the 6 judges in the same assignment, which is a family law assignment, do in Sacramento Superior Court right now. So commissioners have the same authority as judges over just 2 kinds of cases, traffic and small claims, but commissioners can preside over any case at all as long as the parties don't object to having their case in front of a commissioner. So in my courtroom, I have a courtroom, I wear the robe, I've got a clerk, I've got a bailiff, it looks all exactly the same. The only distinction is when the parties first come into my courtroom, they can not agree, not stipulate to have their case in front of me. Very few make that choice. So it looks exactly the same. So I've been doing that work for 3 years. And I think the reason I'm proud to say I have over 50 judges and court commissioners endorsing my campaign is that reason. That is the biggest reason. That is really my biggest selling point to you, is that I have been doing the work of a judge for the last 3 years and doing it well. And I'm in a family law assignment right now. And I'm also a member of the Judicial Council, which is the administrative governing body of the state judiciary. So I've been participating at a statewide level in the judiciary. And so I've got to learn a lot about what's going on at the state level. And then I've got that experience of preparing for calendars, right, reviewing files, taking the bench and taking evidence, ruling on objections, entertaining legal argument, making decisions, writing orders. This is what I do every day. I am not doing it today. I chose to stay casual today because I took the day off today. I hope to have some vacation left at the end of this. But so my legal career prior to becoming a judicial officer was first mostly as a public defender. So as a young person, I had big feelings about the death penalty and about the criminal justice system. I am truly prepared to be, and am now, and have been doing this for 3 years, so know what it takes to be neutral in all things. But I had big feelings. And so I wanted to be like Brian Stevenson when I grew up. That's a civil rights post-conviction death penalty attorney in the South, who I got to see speak at a conference on the death penalty that came to my college at the University of Oregon when I was there. And I was, enamored with him, and I wanted to be like him, and proud to say I made, some steps towards reaching that goal. I went to Berkeley Law School, participated in the death penalty clinic, and became a death penalty post-conviction attorney for 10 years, both in federal court and then in state court as well. And eventually got to teach the class on the death penalty and the Constitution at Berkeley Law School. So that was what I did for a good long while in my legal career. But it was about 5 years ago, almost exactly, a little over 5 now, that I chose, gave it some thought and decided that the best way for me to use my skill set to serve the public would be to become a judge. Now, it was long true that the path to the bench, sort of conventionally, was through being a prosecutor. Even when I was graduated in law school, also in 2009, it was still the case that I was told that, well, if you want to become a judge, A, you should become a prosecutor, and B, you definitely shouldn't become a public defender. But that has started to shift. Both Governor Brown and Governor Newsom have appointed a larger variety, a more diverse group of people across all sorts of different metrics, but including plenty of people who have the experience of a public defender. I also think that the general population has come to understand, this isn't in all circles, that public defenders do important work and defend all of our civil rights, and tend to be concerned about things like that I was concerned about that motivated me to do the work, like systemic racism and socioeconomic disadvantage. That has become, in the state of California, I think, popular enough that public defenders now have a path to the bench. And so I thought, okay, this is possible for me. And so at that point, I decided to pursue this goal and prepare for this moment. So I've been preparing for it for a number of years now. First, I started volunteering as a pro tem judge. So those are lawyers that volunteer to fill in for judges. And you go through training and get prepared to do that. The first several times I got to put on a robe and preside over cases was in Yolo County. And then I chose to pursue a path towards broadening my experience. So it was all criminal law up to that point. But of course, judges don't just do criminal law, right? The majority of cases is everything else combined, right? Probate, civil, whether limited or unlimited, small claims, juvenile. So I thought I should broaden my experience. So with the goal of becoming a judge in mind, I went to the Attorney General's office, and I was in the government law section there, which means I did civil litigation. It was great work. I loved the job. Really would have been happy to do it longer, but then Sacramento County was hiring court commissioners, and I had made that move with the goal of becoming a judge in mind. And so, I had to put in for that, and then I was fortunate enough to get it. Court commissioners are hired by the court. The judges all have to vote in that county. The interview is like in front of a panel of judges. And so, got that job, and have been doing it now for the last 3 years, the vast majority of that in a family law assignment. So, that's who I am. That's my legal experience as to what I think qualifies me for this role. I did grow up here. I will make sure it's clear. I also didn't choose where I grew up, but I did grow up here in Davis, literally here actually in Stonegate. It was actually against this wall that Street Fighter II was on, and we would ride our bikes here and line our quarters up, and I would crush my brother with Chun-Li. Anyway, that was the character I played with. So this is where I grew up. And, one does not have to live in the county to be a judge. So I'm not suggesting that that's a necessary qualification. I'm just noting that this is home to me because this is where I live. I live here in Yolo County, and I grew up here in Davis. And I've been deeply involved in the community. So I was the president of the board of the Davis Schools Foundation, helping to support our public schools. I was a human relations city commissioner. I volunteered as a community member panelist for the neighborhood court program. So just my deep involvement in the community and my deep roots here. My brother is currently the undersheriff. My wife teaches at Patwin Elementary. My mom was a longtime teacher and principal at North Davis Elementary. My dad was a plant pathologist at UC Davis. My mom was a teacher in Woodland. I've got 2 sisters-in-law here in town and their families. The deep roots are not to suggest that makes me more qualified. It just speaks to my motivation. Why do I want to serve? And why do I want to serve this community in particular? I'm already doing the work of a judge as a court commissioner, and I love my job, and I think I'm doing it well. So I'm not running to become something new. I'm running to bring my services home. This is home to me. It is where I live, where I shop, where my kids go to public school, where my wife teaches at public school. I've already said what, my other family members do, so I'm running to bring those services home. So I think those things distinguish me. I am very happy to stick around and talk to you all. I'll say if you're inclined to support me and you want to talk about how to get involved, how to donate. I just learned from a Facebook comment that I am Soros funded, which is big news. Did not know it, but it's big news to me, so we'll be running ads during the NBA playoffs. But no, I do need, like we both do, all the help I can get. So proud to be supported it is a nonpartisan election. But I can share, and I'm proud to share. I have the support of the Yolo County Democrats, the State Democratic Party, the college Democrats. So I'm proud to have that support, although it is nonpartisan. And I am prepared to serve in any assignment, given my background. I do, and of course it is true, right, that neither of us can plan on having a criminal law assignment. I mean, in fact, it is the case, and this is not to blame Diane for this at all, but the DA's office did challenge our only Latina judge, claimed she's biased in every case, and so she couldn't serve in a criminal department. And so that can happen. And so we do need to both be prepared to serve in any assignment.
Thanks a million.
Thank you.